languages with English in Sri Lanka today?
I said in 1956, Mr. Bandaranaike introduced the official language as only Sinhala only. I didn't say it is only. Well, long time ago, why was it introduced? If there was no discrimination, if you had a free society, why would you want to go?
Well, Michael, the point surely... Gone. One of the points is that the language dispute of 1958 did kick off into what became very, very serious disturbances later on. Do you have anything particular on the point about language? Because that has been one of the big causes. Please, go ahead.
I worked there in 1963 for the Reckitt Coleman Group. I wasn't in politics, and language was the issue. You're quite right, absolutely right. Gross discrimination at that time. But today, that has been put right. The official languages now are Tamil and Sinhalese, with some English. You go round and see the road signs, the new road signs, they're all in Tamil and Sinhala. If you're going to enter the civil service, you are required now, at a certain level and above, you are required, if you're a Sinhalese speaker, you have to learn Tamil, and if you're a Tamil, you have to learn Sinhalese.
OK, can I bring in Robert?
That's gone now as an issue.
Bring in Robert on this point. The EU is very keen on human rights, non-discrimination and multilingual societies. In your visits and observation, is there discrimination on the basis of language, and does that lead on to other discrimination?
Well, I would say that it's a Sinhala-dominated society. That's absolutely the case. And
well, of course there's 75% of the people.
80% of the people.
Let Robert finish.
The suggestion that it's that Tamil is used, there are very few civil servants that speak Tamil. There's very few police officers. You see, and I've watched, and for Douglas to say that Tamil people are the least discriminated minority, it's just absolute nonsense. You see the Tamils in Colombo being stopped, and if they've got Jaffna written on their card...
I was stopped.
You've got Jaffna there.
I was stopped as well. I'm not even a Sri Lankan.
You haven't even let me finish the sentence. The Tamils, they are aggressively questioned, they're detained, we know that, they disappear, and you know, then the police and the military. In the military in all of these camps, you're not going to find the soldiers talking nicely to the civilians in Tamil. They're shouting.
Douglas, are Tamil people disproportionately stopped?
No, in fact, you know what...
You're sure?
Yeah, 60% of the Tamil population live in the south, in the Sinhala area, not in the north. And these people are quite happily live harmoniously.
Okay. Can I just say, we're going to take a short break now, but we'll be back in a few moments for more of the topical debate. Hello and welcome back to Forum. I'm Jeremy Corbyn. Today we're discussing Sri Lanka. And a reminder to our viewers in the UK, if you'd like to join our studio audience here in London, you can see our contact details at the bottom of your screen now. Now we're in the discussion about Sri Lanka. Audience question, Laura Jane.
Yeah, my question to the panel is, do you think that some Tamil tactics, such as the use of terrorism and child soldiers, help or hinder their cause?
Very serious allegations made there. Suren.
Nobody is in favour of anybody being killed, be it Sinhalese, Tamils, Christians, Muslims, Sinhalese, Buddhists, whoever. Nobody supports anybody being killed. Having said that, a state, a government, is signed up to United Nations charters and human rights, Geneva Conventions and stuff like that. When a state commits terrorism, like when the Sri Lankan government... I would like to ask...
Lord, you've been asked a very specific question about the tactics used by the LTTE.
Sure.
Can you deal with that, please?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that. Just very quickly. Why would an organisation like United Nations evict Sri Lanka from the Human Rights Council? The government of Sri Lanka evicted from the Human Rights Council because there are breaches of United Nations charters and Geneva Conventions. Like I said, Jeremy, nobody will ever support anybody being killed. Nobody wants to be killed. Nobody wants to kill anybody. But if you push people and if you discriminate people, think about a domestic animal. If you push that animal to a corner...
Siren, there's a specific question there. I'm going to put the question about human rights abuses to the Sri Lankan government representative. There's a specific question about the LTTE from the audience there. Can you deal with it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't support, or nobody supports, anybody being killed, be it Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, whatever. Nobody supports that.
What about the allegation of child soldiers?
Well, there is no credible systems to prosecute people. In Sri Lanka, when the LTTE killed a few soldiers within Bani when there was military aggression, they found the identity cards of army soldiers who had age of 17 years old. Is that child soldiers?
No.
Child soldiers,
no.
Well, listen, there are photographs, and there are, well, there you go.
I know we do, but under the UN, under 18 is a child.
So there are no credible systems to find child soldiers, who is a child soldier and who has been forced to be a soldier. In the United Nations Children's Organization, UNICEF, says the LTTE has dramatically reduced the number of child soldiers. It's only 29.
Well, there aren't many.
You may laugh. You may laugh.
Okay. Yeah,
it's on record.
I do. Because there aren't many left.
Let's hear him finish the answer, then I'll come to you, Michael.
It's on record that in 2004 there were 1,287 child soldiers by LTTE. In 2008, there are only 29 child soldiers. I'm not saying it. It's UNICEF saying it.
All right. But do you accept those UNICEF figures?
Yes, I do.
Right. Michael.
Hitler was
Michael, hang on. I was going to ask you a question as well.
Oh, right.
In answer to the lady who asked the question about child soldiers, you can make your point. What about the human rights record of the Sri Lankan government and criticisms made of it by the United Nations?
Well, let's answer the child soldiers first. Hitler was the last person, and I was a small boy in those days, to use young men, mainly, to arm and use the AK guns. The Tamil Tigers are the only freedom movement, so-called, in the world to use child soldiers. I'm talking about boys of 9, 10, 11, etc.
Have you seen them?
Of course I haven't seen them,
Yeah.
nor have you either.
No.
So you keep quiet. I'm answering this question, not you. Secondly, the Tamil Tigers invented the suicide bomber. They've trained Al-Qaeda in suicide bombing.
Kamikaze?
They've taken out...
Haven't you heard of kamikaze? When the British...
Let's let Michael finish his answer.
Excuse me. They invented a suicide bomber walking up to a person and blowing them up.
What did
President
you
Nehru,
let Michael finish his answer.
Premadasa, and many others. Now, the other question you asked. A breach of UN human rights. There may have been some. Yes.
May have been some.
But there are far, far more at the other side of it. Even the UK. Now, come on. Even the UK has been brought up before the UN on human rights. And if you have a war situation, you may well get some abuse. But that
Michael,
is taken
are you saying then
seriously.
there's abuses on both sides?
I'm saying there's far more abuse on the Tamil Tiger side, but there may well have been some abuse. But I tell you, Jeremy, I asked the defence correspondent of the island whether or not, and he's independent, I don't know, nothing to do with the government,
Independent.
whether or not there was evidence of fixing the situation where soldiers have undertaken abuse of human rights. He said there was no evidence now that that was happening and had not been happening.
Can we take an audience question? The lady on the second row.
Yeah. As a person who has been living in Sri Lanka and working as a consultant working with children, I know for a fact we have had parents who have left the northern areas with their children because they were scared because the children were being abducted on their way to school, and UNICEF made so many appeals, and I for a fact know that these children who were captured, who came captured by the LTT or the Tamil Tigers were then eventually, when they came into the southern districts, they were rehabilitated, and that was a fact. And these parents did tell us why they ran away from the northern areas to get their children away from the Tamil terrorists.
Okay, thanks for your point. The gentleman here on the front row.
Thank you for your time. Yesterday, my cousin from one area, the mother, 3 children, and the dad was